Guys, what makes a girl crazy? A friend of mine took a girl to a wedding and the girl got mad at him because he was staring at the bride too much as the ceremony was going on. So, I guess extreme jealousy. Another example is one time years ago I had to work like a 10-hour shift on a Sunday and I gave my GF at the time a heads up, since I wouldn't really be able to text back pretty much all day. She later told me she thought I made it up, so I wouldn't have to text her. I've had the same problems with my job and girlfriends in the past. I travel out for work, and when I do, most of my work is assisting installers with questions about our equipment or even working hands-on with them to fix a problem. Other times in surveying warehouses alone / having meetings with customers and don't have time for texting sweet nothings all day long. I also work long hours because I'm trying to focus on the job at hand and like 3+ other projects I currently have going on back in the office. Well, for my story, I was flying out early in the morning and taking on the duties as a PM. Me and Seth for a site survey and had no time to duck around. I told the GF the day prior I was going to be extremely busy and would talk to her later that night after I got back to my hotel. I call her that night and all I get it bitched for an hour for not saying hi all day to her. She didn't last long after that. Any chick who is big on ultimatums over daft stuff. I just don't feel like going out tonight, babe. It's either we go out or I'm leaving you. Let her leave you. My last girlfriend was extremely insecure at the beginning of our relationship. She admitted to wanting to look at my text messages. I had nothing to hide, so I indulged her. It didn't stop there. Pretty soon she was checking my Facebook and either unfriending or unfollowing women on my friends list. One day when we were watching a show on Netflix that had a fairly attractive woman, she looked upset. I asked her what was wrong. She told me that it bothers her when the person she's with watches anything with women that are hotter than her. I was pretty much limited to watching animated shows. I'm a pretty passive guy, so I put up with it so she wouldn't have to stress about it. I put up with it for a year and then she cheated on me with someone from work, saying something along the lines of I don't want to have sex yet because I'm afraid I will sabotage the condom because I really want a child. Apostrophe. If they get mad at you because they had a dream you cheated on them. True story. For that matter, any girl who non-stop suspects you of cheating unless you've given them reason to believe so. I dated a girl who would read my TXTs, emails, anything personal if I wasn't watchful for this reason. And I never gave her any reason to believe I was cheating. The worst part is she had very few girlfriends, almost all guy friends, would occasionally hang out alone with them when I wasn't around, then would get super angry if I ever even joked about accusing her. For the record, I had one female friend at the time, and my GF was always with me when we hung out. That GF was a crazy control freak. My ex-girlfriend had this thing where she was barely employed, played LOL all day long in our apartment, never did any dishes, and not once in the year before I threw her out took out the garbage. But she loved to tell anybody who would listen to her about how much of a slob I am. Meanwhile I did all of the cleaning and was only home 2 to 3 waking hours a day. So to answer your question, not being self-aware can make you batshit insane. Before I started dating my ex, her and a group of friends came to watch me play music at a local restaurant. She got way too hammered, was literally talking gibberish by the time I was done, peed in the parking lot before leaving, and decided she wanted to go out with all of her friends. When it was time to go, I said I was just going to go home, and she just gave me this crazy girl empty stare, proceeded to go home, and I started getting phone calls. I tell her that she was really too drunk, and I thought it would be best if we called it a night. Had to just hang up, but she kept calling, and I decided it would be best if just ignore her at that point. She actually walks to my house at that point. She lived in the neighborhood and starts trying to wake me up. I pretend to stay asleep. It seemed like the easiest way out at the time. She starts trying to get into my phone and can't figure out the password. Then, she tells me she is going to do something bad if I don't answer. Finally, she walks out. Looking back, I can't believe I kept seeing her after, but I told myself she was just hammered and this was totally out of character, which was true at the time. Ultimately, she turned out to be an ultimatum queen, and was literally the worst. Gaslighting. I had a friend brag to me about cheating on her boyfriend, getting caught, then manipulating the fight so much that he ended up apologizing for his feelings. That's horrible crazy girl shit. It's like art, you might not be able to describe it, but you know it when you see it. Sometimes it's in the eyes, you can see it. Michelle Bachmann comes to mind. The hollow eyes that see too much, stare too deeply, and don't quite follow the level of expression in the rest of the face. I'd say generally what a girl would say is creepy in a guy. That is, creepy in a guy is crazy in a girl. Things like stalkerish behaviors, really off the cuff and inappropriate remarks, obsessive natures, when they are oblivious that the things they are doing or saying are not acceptable to a majority of people, and when most people would look at said behaviors and note something is wrong with them. No, listen to me. She's not fun. She's just crazy. Like, grab a cop's gun crazy. Jack Lemmon. Having known Claire for a very enjoyable 20 minutes and you for what feels like infinity, I'm going to go with Claire on this one. -30 rock. Today a girl started talking to me on Plenty of Fish. Started out okay. She said hi to me. I said hi. We went back and forth 2 or 3 messages each, and then I didn't reply for 5 minutes because I was driving. She wrote me a lengthy reply about how people just stop talking to her and it pisses her off. I got to where I was going, read the message, and replied that I was driving. She didn't apologize and sent me another message like nothing had happened. Big red flag that this person is crazy. That time she took me on a date to McDonald's and then to vandalize her ex's car was sort of a red flag. She bought me dinner though, so I couldn't really complain. Too attached or a little too attached too soon. There is a post circulating somewhere recently where it was a dude's car that was covered in that window writing stuff and streamers and junk. It was saying happy almost 1 week anniversary. That's crazy territory. It's okay to be happy about it, but that is a little too far. My ex used to get very mad at me for talking to my guy friends at parties. She wanted me to sit in the corner and talk to only her. Glad that's over with. Knowing or asking to know my passwords to social media. I really mean it when I say I have nothing to hide. You've already gone through my phone, and you are crazy if you want me to give you my credentials. Hell no. Those eyes, you know the ones. The ones you can just look at and know. It'll be a lot of fun, but I'll wake up naked, in jail, and in debt. Does she have stacks of Cosmo laying around? Do the spines complete a picture? Does she refer to things mentioned in Cosmo as fact? If yes to any of these then she is crazy. My buddy dated a girl who went to a different university, and she made his life hell. He was never allowed to go out. If he didn't text her when he was done class she would flip. If his grade slipped a little she would give him such a hard time. Found out eventually she was banging everything that walked on campus, and still expect them to be together and get married after school because everyone cheats in university. It's not that big of deal. Crazy, ho. If she starts chasing you around the house with a knife yelling about how you killed her dog, but she only has a fish, she's probably crazy, or you killed her dog. Honestly, it doesn't take much, and it is not uniform among guys. In high school my best friend quickly shot down this girl because she was too clingy. That is, she followed up with him the next day after they met. I kinda scratched my head at that, but okay. When I was really young I went out with a girl one time who called incessantly, like 6 to 10 times per day. Even more if I told my parents to tell her I wasn't home. The only steady rule of thumb, though, is that the more emotionally erratic a girl is the more likely the guy will be at pegging her as crazy. breaking into my house to sleep in my bed after we split up, and then faking a pregnancy as my high watermark and concern to girls I have dated. I think we do both women and ourselves a disservice by calling what I think most of us think of as crazy. It's dismissive of the actual problem. The actual problem is that someone is being rude, mean, and not thinking of their partner as a human being with their own thoughts, feelings, and desires. By calling someone like that crazy, it allows them to dismiss your critique of their personality. Crazy is over the top. It's a cliche. You're just another asshole who doesn't understand when you call them crazy. So be specific. Instead of crazy, say you're a rude, inconsiderate person. You blame everyone else for your own mistakes and faults. You treat me like a human punching bag. I'm not here to validate your poor behavior or to give you something to abuse when you feel bad about yourself. Don't you think that would be a lot more effective than just calling them crazy? Coming after my balls with a razor blade while shit-faced drunk. Oh, we were both naked. Nothing quite like sleeping in a walk-in closet with my back up against the door in fear. Reading all these responses makes me feel so much better about myself. It seems like a lot of guys use the term crazy a bit too loosely when describing girls. Like she showed emotion so she's crazy, or she caught feelings so she's crazy, and that's caused me to worry a lot. I've gotten in the habit of talking myself out of it every time I catch feelings for a guy, because it seems like the guys I meet only like chill girls who give endless blowjobs and never catch feelings or show any emotion. It makes me sad feeling like I have to do that though. I want to be able to have feelings for a guy and not feel ashamed about it. But a lot of the situations that were described are, in my opinion, very obviously bad and easy to not do. I like to consider myself pretty normal, and it sounds like I should be fine as long as I stay that way. Went on a couple of dates with a girl, wasn't going anywhere, told her that. Her reply, yeah, fair enough. But would you get me pregnant? Me, WTF. No. She then proceeded to beg me to impregnate her until I ran away. My grandmother picked me up from my house for a surprise birthday Disneyland trip. I was 18 but still. It's Duckheim Disneyland, so I obliged and went. My girlfriend of about 2 months then started to berate me on the drive there with, "How could you just ducking leave on a road trip like that? What if I needed to see you? Oh, you'd rather hang out with your grandma than your girlfriend, huh?" And other bullshit. I realized I needed to end things, so I simply called her and said, "What you just said made me realize you're no good for me. I'm sorry but we are done." She then proceeded to say she was the only girl I'd ever love. Never said or even thought that I loved her and that my life would turn to shit and I'd come running back. But shit crazy. It, symptoms/signs of the crazy, not the element that makes her crazy. For example, you say horse girl, I say a girl that wasn't told no very often and grew used to having a large pet to hang out with, and then that's how she views you. See the difference? Ultimatums, similar thing about usually getting their way. The no female friends guy seems to get this, though. If a woman seems to have an expectation that I'm going to cheat on her, it almost certainly won't be true, because I simply won't be there. If the expectation is that I will cheat, because I'm a member of all men, I have never cheated on a woman. In my whole life I think I've only met 2 men who have. If a woman is so scarred that she expects that behavior from me, she's too far gone. Bye. So long. See ya around. For both genders, craziness is associated with overclinginess. They never want you to go anywhere without them. For girls, they might fake a pregnancy or even skip birth control in an effort to get pregnant and trap you. For guys, they might sneak off their condom in an effort to get you pregnant and trap you. The reason that we talk about the different genders being crazy in different ways is that crazy guys are seen as dangerous or predatory or controlling. Crazy girls are just seen as wacky, annoying but not dangerous, or not a direct threat to your physical well-being. I think if a female has underlying control issues and she feels like she's not in control of you or your relationship or any given situation is when you see it start to come out. Personal experience. Early in a relationship, the phrase "it really bothers me that I can't control when I see you or talk to you" came out. The relationship did not go much further. Hey, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.